Scotland will be looking to show their title credentials as they take on Italy in their first game of this year's Six Nations. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. So, yeah, Scotland last year, they look good at times, but same with other years, not really kind of getting, down to it in terms of actually competing for the title. They're going to want to really start well this year. We're going to have a look, first of all, what are the details of the game. So this is Scotland versus Italy. It's on Saturday, the 1st of February 2025. It's at Murrayfield. It's a 2:15 kickoff if you're in Ireland or the UK. I think it's 4:15 in South Africa. Then last year's game, Italy 31, Scotland 29. Scotland absolutely want to avoid a repeat of that. And the year before then, Scotland 26, Italy 14. So, Scotland, they're going to want to kind of start well, not just with a win, I think. They're going to hope for a better margin than that. And there's no doubt, I think, that they have the potential to do it, but it's whether they can actually deliver. The odds are saying Scotland are definitely going to win, 10-1 on to win, and then Italy 9-1 for their win, and then a 55-1 chance for a draw. So yeah, all the smart money is going on Scotland. Again, it doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen, but generally, upsets are upsets for a reason, right? It's because they don't happen all that often. But Italy beat them last year. They'll be thinking there's no reason why we can't do it again this year. Now, let's have a look at the teams. We're going to start with the Scotland team. So front row is Pierre Schoeman, Dave Cherry, Xander Fagerson. So, Schoeman, I think, has been in, had been in really good form, kind of in the last year or two for Scotland, but also in the URC as well. Xander Fagerson, came back from injury, I think, like early on in the season, and really has had good impact when he's come back as well. Dave Cherry getting the nod there then to start at 2. I'm sure Johnny Matthews is probably thinking, like, what does he have to do to even get into the squad to get on the field. But I suppose probably looking at what the other guys can give them around the park. He's a little bit down the pecking order, but there's tons of competition, at hooker in Scotland. We talked, previously we talked about kind of Ireland's depth at hooker, but Scotland have some decent players as well. So Johnny Matthews, obviously there's other aspects of his game that probably need to improve if he's to force his way into the team. Second row, then you got Johnny Gray and Grant Gilchrist. So, kind of familiar faces in there from that point of view. Scotland generally, their line out, is the better of the two set pieces. Not always, but generally you associate Scotland with a kind of fluid, decent, line out, and with those two guys in there, you'd expect that to kind of continue. The back row, then you got Rory Darge as one of the co-captains. I honestly don't like the idea of co-captains, but if it works for them, it works for them, right? Then you got we missed Jamie Ritchie. How do we miss Jamie Ritchie? Jamie Ritchie, another guy who's having a really good season as well. And then Rory Darge and Matt Ferguson. Matt Ferguson, been carrying well lately, and I think from 8, a lot of these Six Nations games are gonna. A lot of it comes down to, can your 8 kind of get over the gain line? We talked about it for the kind of France-Wales game as well. Aaron Wainwright getting some front football for Wales. I think Ferguson's going to be the same, especially with Dempsey and who's it? Yeah, no Dempsey, or Dempsey's on the bench, should I say? But then no Cummings either. And like, I think later on, you could maybe see, Dempsey coming on maybe for Richie, and then, Ferguson maybe moving to 6 and Dempsey carrying at the back, especially if Ferguson isn't getting over the gain line as much as they would like. But halfbacks then, you got Ben White and Finn Russell. So Finn Russell, the other co-captain, the guy is just mercurial. He's a brilliant player, and you can't. There aren't enough superlatives for how good he is at 10. He's gonna want to really control this game and kind of orchestrate a big win for his team as well. Ben White beside him there should put that ball on the platter for him as well. Then you got Duhan van der Merwe on the left wing, and you got Darcy Graham on the right wing. Those two battling out to be who's going to be the record try scorer. It's going to change possibly game to game or even within games between those two. They're so close on that. No Tuipulotu at 12, unfortunately, because he's injured. He's going to miss the entire tournament, which is really sad because he's someone I was looking forward to. Honestly, looking at the form he was in, before he got injured, I was thinking he's going to be there in terms of maybe nomination for player of the tournament if he brings that form into the Six Nations, but not we're not going to see that. But Stafford McDowell, certainly a very able replacement. He's been going well. Like I watched him a few times now in the URC, and he's done really well. He's really good at finding those gaps, and also when he gets through a gap, finding where his support is as well, and also kind of the opposite too, running support lines. And then he's got Hugh Jones beside him, so those two, they're going to want him to be as cohesive as Tuipulotu and Jones were, because when those two are playing well together, absolutely on fire. So yeah, Stafford McDowell, really good player. It's just that now about in a Scotland shirt being able to deliver beside Hugh Jones as well. Talked about Darcy Graham already. Blair Kinghorn there then at full back. Try scoring threat. He's can be a good kicking option from 15. He can be a second playmaker, coming into the line as well, and really keeps the defenses guessing, because they don't know, is he going to go for the pass? He's got a wide range of passing as well, and he's got the kicking option, or he can attack you himself too. So when he comes into the line, the opposition defense really does kind of have to take notice as well of that. On the bench then, we got Ewan Ashman, Rory Sutherland, Will Hurd, Gregor Brown, Jack Dempsey, George Horn, Tom Jordan, and Kyle Rowe. So Tom Jordan, I expect when he comes on, it's probably not going to be at 10. They probably want Finn Russell to play all 80 minutes. So that'll be interesting. But if he does have to come on at 10, we know he has the ability, to produce there, because he was in that, URC winning Glasgow team, last season, and he's playing well, for them this year as well, albeit that, he's going down to, England, next season, excuse me. But yeah, definitely enable deputy if Finn has to come off. But if you're Scotland, you probably want to see Finn on for the bulk of the game, especially in this one where they're hoping for a decent score. Then let's have a look at the Italy team. Let me pull it up here. Just went the wrong way on my things. There we are. Okay, so we have front row Danilo Fischetti, Giacomo Nicotera, and Simone Ferrari. So that's a really good front row. Fischetti, when it came, kind of came into the Six Nations first a few seasons ago, the guy was as absolute sensation, and it's a decent front row there, but they've got to make sure that they have good impact right from the start. And we've seen with Italy before, like last year through the November internationals, during the World Cup as well, that fantastic players but didn't deliver. And these guys, they got to deliver. They got to give their team a decent platform, and it means doing the tough stuff and performing in the loose as well. Second row, then you got Dino Lam and Federico Ruzza. Ruzza is a guy really like him as a player. He especially as a kind of a second rower, he's not afraid to carry the ball and look for offloads and stuff like that as well. Back row then got Sebastian Negri, Michel Lamaro, who's the captain, and Lorenzo Canone. So decent back row there. They've got some good options, but I think for them it's about kind of finding the balance really in terms of finding a settled back row as well. It's generally Lorenzo Canone kind of comes in and out of the team, self and Giuliani kind of swapping and stuff like that. So we'll see whether they kind of keep consistent starting back row through the tournament or not. Then halfbacks, you got Martin Pedrello, who has been kind of swapping with the younger of the two Garbisis at 9. So again, that spot there is kind of up for grabs through the tournament, I think. But also, I can't remember the other guy's name. I know who he is, but I can't think of his name. But yeah, there's more than just the two options. Like, last year we saw where the 9's been rotated. You could be starting one week and out of the 23 the next week, the way they were doing it. Paolo Garbisi then there. It's Varney, right? It just came to me. Yeah, it's Varney is the other 9. But Paolo Garbisi there at 10 has kind of settled there was a debate kind of in the last couple of years of who was going to be the starting 10, but he's settled that now. And then you got Monty Ioane there, real kind of game changer for them on the wing. He knows his way to the try line. They just need to get him the ball. Then Tommaso Melancello, he was last year's player of the tournament, right? Guy was sensational, and that combination with Juan Ignacio Brex there at 13 as well. I think honestly an underrated centre combination. There are some fantastic centre combinations in this tournament, but these guys consistently have been top drawer, I think. Brex has been doing it for years, and Melancello has stepped up in the last couple of years as well. Then you got Ange Capuozzo there at 14 on the right wing. Thing about him is you want to see him flow, in full flight, ball in hand, etc. And you want to see him staying injury free as well. He's had lots of interruptions with injury. We hope that he's available for most of the tournament. Then at 15, then you got Tommaso Allen. Last year, I think there was a bit of debate between whether it was going to be him or Paolo Garbisi at 10. But again, I think that has been settled for now at least. And he's there at 15, can come in as, a second playmaker, kind of similar to Blair Kinghorn, without as much pace really. But certainly a decent option there, at full back. Then on the bench, then we have Gianmarco Lucchesi, Luca Rizzoli, Marco Riccioni, Nicolo Canone. He's another one kind of in and out of the starting team. Manuel Giuliani, Ross Vincent scored an absolutely brilliant try in the Champions Cup there. And, definitely worth seeing that solo effort. then Alessandro Garbisi and Simone Jesse as well there. Jesse has been in great form as well. So hopefully he gets decent minutes in the game. But, thinking about, how to think the game is going to go. Well, Italy, weren't all that impressive in November. Benetton have been kind of, for most of the season, have been down on where they were last year. Although, like, some really good wins in the Champions Cup, against Bath, first of all, albeit a weakened Bath. And then the big one, the win against La Rochelle to qualify for the knockout stages. And then, Zebre have been improving as well. We saw that they beat Munster earlier on in the season. They've given other teams, hard matches as well in the URC. And with all these boys here, in the Italy camp, the rest of the Zebre squad beat Ulster, at Ravenhill there, or the Kingspan, last weekend as well. So, even though, the guys here wouldn't have been involved in that game, still it'd be a G up for them, to see that happen as well. So, and they're going to have to be G'd up for this game. They're going to have to go out there and they're going to have to, be smart with their rugby, because the problem we've seen with Italy is that they went from being kind of a team that was trying to keep the score down to a team that was throwing the ball around from everywhere, and then dropping the ball in their own 22 and just making a rod for their own back. Really, if the likes of Garbisi and Allen can kind of kick well and get them in decent positions on the field, and then they throw the ball around a bit more, I think they can stay in touch with Scotland. But ultimately, I think Scotland are going to win this one. I think with the likes of Finn Russell and Blair Kinghorn there in the back line, they've just got too many keys to open up the locks of the Italian defence. And even without, Tuipulotu there in the centres, like Hugh Jones has been a fantastic form and McDowell has been brilliant as well. So it's going to be very interesting centre kind of battle between these two teams, because, four really good centres going head to head there as well. But I think overall, Scotland are just going to have too much for them. I hope Italy stay in the game and make it interesting for 50, 60 minutes or so. But I think Scotland in the end are going to come out with the win on that one. Okay, so that's the end of that preview. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments.